So, the server that I'm on has a festival coming up very soon, and I wanted to go ahead and build a shop at spawn. Not really so much for the profit. I think at this point in the server and at this point in the season, I don't really need the money anymore. But I just wanted to contribute something near spawn and have an amethyst shop, as well as possibly a cafe on the upper area. I think at this point, I'm a little bit sick of building. I've pushed myself a lot this season to build really frequently and honestly, sometimes really large things. And I wanted to build something a little bit smaller and a little bit more manageable and something with materials that aren't as hard to grab and to organize, and a palette that's a little bit more bite-sized and manageable. I feel like whenever I think of that, I go back to wood really easily. I think spruce and oak are the tried and true Minecraft palettes, and it's very fitting for this area of the server to have a wooden build. I think you can see in the background that pretty much most of the shops in this area are wood or bricks. So I was building this somewhat cottagey, but a little bit of cyberpunky shop in the spawn area, with the bottom story going to be my optics area. If you remember, I want to say it was like 2 videos ago by now, I had built an optics shop that was part of my big biotechnic building, and the optics shop was on the back part of it. And because we have a few geodes or like amethyst crystals underneath Cyberpunk, it's been really easily for me to stock up on like tinted glass or amethyst crystals to decorate with, because I'm pretty much always in a chunk where they're loaded in. So figures that I would set up a little bit more at spawn where I have the materials to pretty much run everything. And then on the upper story, I kind of just wanted to do like a cafe. I had this one photo inspiration that I think Dai shared on one of his videos, and it's not like a super complex building, which is why I went for it, but I was just going off of the general shape and the general vibe of the building. Also, you may notice I've reconfigured my shaders just a touch. I didn't really like the blue tone of my shaders. I definitely did when I originally had created the shader profile, but I think now I'm kind of looking for shaders that are similar to Eclipse. If you don't know what Eclipse is a GitHub shader that is an edit of Bliss, but it's really intensive on your graphics, and I can't run it for the life of me. Every time that I try to turn on Eclipse, my computer does not love it at all. It's just like the volumetric fog, everything. I've tried changing the settings. I get like 3 FPS with it. It's so bad. So basically, I've reconfigured my shaders so that they kind of give the color profile and the like blooming effect that Eclipse has, but more manageable for my computer to run. This is actually complementary. I really love that you can do so much with complementary. I think it's probably the most malleable shader to ever exist on Minecraft. But I have this upper area for the cafe that has kind of a lookout. It's kind of runs into the tree at the side, but it's like a airy cafe. I think I ended up stocking it with watermelon juice and cabbage rolls. I think I may have also put like mutton wraps or something. Those are all from Farmer's Delight. By the way, I am playing on a mod pack called Better Adventures Plus. I have a few of my own configurations on there, but it is the latest version of the mod pack, and we're about to update it yet again for next season, which means this may be one of the last builds on the server. A little bit sad to see it go, but I think as time has passed, I've kind of developed an idea for next season. But I always have to finish this building because the festival is about to start.
ribbons.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the ribbons.
Dude, this dance floor is so cool. Who's this?
This was collaborative. Oh, this.
You got music.
Is this part of the official soundtrack, or are they like separate songs?
I think they're new in the update.
What's
going on? I think this was added by one of the mods.
Oh, it's from Pillager Continuation.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Lullaby
Oh,
song.
Hello.
This is depressing.
Oh,
Hell no, this song sucks.
wait a second.
Yeah, this is sad. What?
Play other side.
We also got like we got so many
We got
shops
other
here.
side. I mean, you can go buy a disc at my record shop over there.
If only we had Cam Jones
Just
here.
plug.
to say.
Shameless
Goodbye.
I love how there's no
We're just dancing.
We'll dancing or crouching.
Yeah, same thing.
Hold it.
taking his clothes off.
Oh, it just continues. What the heck?
Yes. Alright.
Oh, now it's
You know what?
depressing,
That works.
actually. What the
Yeah,
heck?
Play other
it's so
side.
quiet now.
Alright, shall we shall everyone walk around and take a look at all the shops and stuff we have to offer and some of the mini games we have?
Do people want to give?
Yeah.
We have mini games.
We made a an egg hunt.
We should
we know
actually
it's
be
not.
open.
An egg hunt.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's all over the map, so you can
Wait, the whole map.
find one. Hyperglade, Tumbleweed,
Okay.
Riften, here, Round Spawn, and
We're sure all the main towns so far.
yes.
Oh my god.
Throw poop a
Throw
bit,
a
yeah. Sorry.
Throwing.
You throw a bean to get a prize.
Yeah, you just throw them into.
You need
little
to get it
pieces.
in the hopper, though. It's
Oh,
harder than
yes.
you think, actually. But no
Oh.
joking.
What? That's not possible, is it?
It is.
No, it is. It
Yes.
is not.
It is. We've tested.
Cap.
How much is it per bean to throw? Look at the pay to throw.
In the book, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's in the book.
Yeah, it costs 1 diamond for 3 throws.
Okay. I didn't bring my
Play
dice.
something connect
The
four.
number
Know
of
that.
I
beans
did.
are a little bit messed up.
Cover
The
me.
stacks.
And he made this.
Yeah,
Try and get
over here.
Oh yeah,
Where?
I think you still gotta open your head shop.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
What is
2
it?
diamonds?
Yeah.
Well, Cam is supposed to sit there and he's gonna go in the water if you hit.
Oh, it's like a dunk machine.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty cool building here. Oh my god, I want to build a
Oh my
cool
god, who
building.
built that?
Is this a self-promotion?
Wow.
What? No. I'm not self-made.
What is this club?
It is a cafe and
Yeah,
a
there
shop.
is looter chests all over.
So
Yeah,
there's
wait.
looter chests everywhere.
Yeah, we did not say that here. There's looter chests everywhere.
The
Yeah,
there's
two
hidden
stuff
looter
here,
chests. Yep.
have not
Courtesy
been
of
priced.
Pepsi? I didn't know.
Yeah, I did.
For anyone that's here, these 2 chests are free.
I see that Cyberpunk
Ah.
Free.
Hiroshi. I see
Yeah.
Yes, we made it.
Here's the company. And look at the company. That's so cool.
Oh, we made it. Yes.
Being overrun by villagers.
Yes. What?
Why?
Didn't we?
Yeah,
Everyone's so
yeah,
short.
yeah. Everyone has their own heights.
We've got my bistro over here as well,
Wow.
which it's open if you do need to eat. You want to eat here. You got tic-tac-toe on the board here.
Oh,
I think
it's so
like
dark.
tic-tac-toe on the whiteboard.
Lantern.
Land.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lantern.
it's photonics. Do you want to see what I'm seeing, Pepsi?
No, I didn't.
There's no
Which
Yes.
one would
Yes.
which player head do I want? Pumpkin?
We have an
Mushroom. I'll do the
upstairs.
mushroom.
Wow.
These are very cute. I like the selection.
This is so good.
This is nice.
Ooh, gear door.
Got some here.
How did you use it?
Kill ourselves like 20 million times. Oh, this. This with an armor stand. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn, man.
Where's Ariel too?
Where my head.
What else should we do?
There's another mini game as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of mini
Oh,
games
there's some
around
more
here. A
mini
lot of
games.
people
Yeah,
more attention
chicken
to those in the shop.
Oh, is Skirt from Axiom one of them? Fucking stupid thing.
Yes.
This is the chicken hit, I guess.
Shoot the dog.
Chicken.
You take okay, so
fall
you
down.
take the bow and arrow. Oh, okay, well yeah.
Oh my god, this is brutal.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
I couldn't find another way to do it.
Okay.
If it's too hard, you can do this. It's actually
Well-
really quite difficult.
Here, get the arrow. Wait, and there's lava
Whoa.
down there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they as soon as they hit
They
the lava,
die.
the game ends. Like you don't get life. You just game
There
over.
is a
Yeah.
the bell goes off.
Man, you guys suck.
Very difficult actually.
It is more. It is harder than you think.
I'm not even seeing any of them. My game is goofy.
Here to get
What
get
the
a
heck?
get a bow flow. I want to see you do this.
I want yeah.
You say sir?
No, I mean
Here, I'll
sir,
serve.
it's her happy cake.
No. Here.
Oh, you went through the arrow.
No.
Yeah, I told you this is actually hard.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's pretty typical.
I want to turn.
You want to turn? You take a turn. Okay.
How do I turn?
It's carrot shop.
Carrot shop.
Yes.
Did you stop yet, man?
Yeah.
Already? Dolls? This feels like a premium unboxing.
Premium buying.
Wait, what's the
Cool.
I think I'm right.
I like that.
What's the price here?
Yeah, what,
Prices
free
are just
bundle
on the
with
side at the desk.
And you get
oh,
Oh,
there.
almost.
There's people like
I know, I actually can't
on
see.
stack for 5 diamonds.
Oh, that's a good price. Okay.
That's a
This
very
is gonna
good
sell out very, very quickly.
So a stack is 6 diamonds and the bag of 10 carrots is 1 diamond.
Wait. Do you remember?
No.
The one.
We're not bringing the actual cult back. Come on, they've terrorized me for weeks.
I have to bring it out this once.
Oh, you know what we could have done
Yeah.
is biplane races.
I don't think I have my
Biplane
sponsors.
races.
Like flying in.
Oh,
You know
like
the
fly this
you
And I'm planning.
fly
Oh,
up
yeah.
into it.
I never played Wii Sports actually. I never
Yeah,
had
it was,
one.
it was really awesome. Or Wii
The
Resort.
foundation
specifically.
again.
Yes, I know.
Okay, we are back in Cyberpunk, and I'm trying to get all my stuff in sorts. I saw this one video. So, to preface this, I'm building this massive Cyberpunk city on the server right now, and it's kind of based off of Cyberpunk 2077 fun fact, I have not played 2077. I don't have anything to play it on. I do have my laptop, but if I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of running out of storage on my laptop, and I am not gonna pay $70 quite yet for the game. But I saw this one YouTube video where it was someone showcasing their favorite places in Cyberpunk 2077, like a little bit of the more unknown areas where maybe missions don't happen as much. But I saw this park, Reconciliation Park. I can't believe I haven't seen this in any of the other Cyberpunk videos I've watched. But I loved how the park looked. I think it was very nice and ambient. And it was this combination of a break from the city as well as Cyberpunk at the same time. So I was kind of going off of that vibe with building a park on the back of the train station and near the side of Biotechnic. In my head, I'm kind of imagining this as maybe Biotechnic's showcasing their ability to control nature or create nature, but I don't really have a solid plan for the backstory of this in my head. I'm kind of sick of coming up with stuff. Like I said, I've been building for a good amount of time on the server, and my brain's starting to run out of ideas. So I wanted to build this pond as a break from the area, as well as Reconciliation Park has this river going through it that has these cement banks. I did study urban stream syndrome in one of my college classes, but I kind of wanted to have this be more of like a muddy, marshy vibe instead, as I think that kind of fits Cyberpunk a little bit more, as well as prevents me from using and abusing andesite, which I feel like I've gone through so much andesite this season. So I watched Mumbo's, I was gonna say recent video, but it's been quite a while since I built this. I watched one of his videos where he's building this pond in his Season 11 Hermitcraft base, and he's adding a bunch of stuff in the pond to kind of break up the fact that usually you build the sides up of a pond in Minecraft, and the sides are really pretty and you can add a lot of foliage on the sides. But when it comes to the middle of the pond, typically there's nothing happening. So I wanted to add this fallen tree that kind of serves as a good like parkour spot where you can parkour across the river and not have to wade through it, as well as just a good decoration to kind of muddy up the place. And then I wanted to add potholes around the city. I think they're a really good touch considering that there's so much pavement around the city, and it's kind of hard to break up the pavement with just pale moss and like grass growing up in the pale moss, kind of like grass growing up through concrete. So I think the potholes add a little bit something more. And I have a variation of foliage going on. I really like using nether foliage to add some color without it being like floral. I think they kind of look like weeds, but they still have like a bright, fun color. I also adjusted how optics looked. I didn't love the light blue terracotta that I used when I'd originally built the building, so I went back and I replaced it with, I think, tuff and stone and maybe some andesite so that it's a little bit more of a singular tone. And I was paving out the around area of the pond. One of the most notable parts, I think, of the Reconciliation Park landscape and the vibe is it's somehow a break from nature, yet the entire park is obstructed, per se, by what looks like highway overpasses. And I liked how even the naturey part of the park seems like it can't escape the city. So I was going to build this really large building flanking the pond that is kind of a shopping district. I think there are like only 2 images I can find on Google that show what I was basing my inspiration off of. It's kind of like it looks like a mega building from 2077, but it's a little bit more wide and like spread out and has like a kind of bevel going up the side of it, which is really what I was aiming for with the building that I started after this. But part of a park is I need a ton of foliage. So I did my research and I have specifically chosen trees that can actually grow together. I don't really know why I did this now that I think about it, because it's cyberpunk and it's not like these trees are naturally occurring there. But this is a Japanese Zelkova. There's one YouTuber that is doing a series of building a tree a day. And most of them are like real life trees that have like Latin names, like proper, real, very specific species of trees. I really like how they look. I'm really not good at building trees, so I always try to look for like free trees on Planet Minecraft. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I have this Japanese Zelkova here. I think in the background, that is a silver birch tree. I might be wrong, but I know it is a type of birch tree. And then I also built, I think, a ghost gum on the other side of the building. But the tree was kind of a nice break from all the white trees that I was using. And I think the brown adds a little bit of something. I also wanted to do a seating area underneath the tree because I think even though this is supposed to be like a cyberpunk world, I think seating still exists. I know seating definitely, you go to a park here in real life and seating still exists, but most of the times when you go to a park in a city, you notice that it's always hostile architecture. Like they all have the medians in between the benches and they're all built to not be like comfortable to sit on for a long period of time. So I interrupted the benches instead of having like one long bench with a fence gate to kind of serve as like a barrier to where you can actually sit there. And I think that really did the job of making it look a little bit more cyberpunk. I think at this point it was kind of starting to look solar punkish, and I really struggle with being able to draw the line. But I think at the end it pulls through as cyberpunk. So while I'm building in the background, I wanted to do a bit of a talk. If you follow me for a while, you know I tend to do talks in most of my videos, typically towards the end, but I want to break it up a little bit as there's not much interesting happening with the build at the moment. I heard this topic a few days ago, actually, and I was talking about friendships and my experience with friendships pretty much throughout my life, but especially concentrated in college. Specifically, the differences between co-ed friend groups and female friend groups that I've experienced thus far. This may be a little bit of a conversation topic in the comments as well. One thing I've noticed recently, and this is via personal experience, is that I find it a lot easier to be friends in a co-ed friend group than in an all-female friend group. And I can't really explain or articulate this phenomenon well without kind of sounding like a pick-me. I'm very well aware of how this comes off, but I have this issue where I tend to form better friendships in a co-ed group, specifically with the guys in that group, than I do with an all-female friend group, and typically any girl in that friend group. And it may just be because I have pretty varying interests, and the co-ed friend groups that I'm a part of are typically formed off of clubs that I'm in college. So I'm part of like 2 car-based clubs in college, and obviously that becomes a pretty mixed crowd. But one of the clubs is the Formula SAE club at my college, and if you don't know, we build a car. It's pretty much the gist of it. But because building a car is a pretty big feat, I've made most of my friends through that club, and that's like a mixed bag of friends where they're very smart and articulate people who are both book smart as well as very socially smart. And I find it so much easier to get along with them than some recent friends I've made. I talked in the last video about how the past summer I was interning in Philly, and I actually met this girl through my coworker. and she's been great to hang around. I don't have a lot of girls friends who are like into going out and like doing the whole like college experience, because that hasn't been my very conventional college experience thus far. It's been her and then this girl who I knew since freshman year. I recently found out, or not recently, but at the beginning of the year, I found out that they were roommates. So we would go out together quite frequently, and we still do to this day. But at the start of the new year, I've been really trying to get in shape and be happier with myself. I think December I was really struggling with body image issues and feeling like I was kind of disappointing myself and not experiencing like my hobby of going to the gym and finding joy out of seeing results in the gym, whether that be like physical results or just me being able to go on the stair climber longer or do this exercise that I wasn't able to do. And I've had like a pretty decent physical change because of that. I've, lost a good amount of weight and my muscles have grown a little bit, and I wanted to do so particularly before graduation. And throughout the semester, I keep getting comments made by the girl who I met more recently over the summer. I find this issue where in almost all female friendships I've had, I always end up making friends with jealous people. And I don't know if this is a personal experience or maybe this is something that other people experience a little bit more, but I feel like this doesn't tend to happen in co-ed friend groups as much. But I feel like in female friendships, it tends to be so much more targeted around looks that it's so disheartening to me. She keeps making comments about like, oh, you're so much skinnier than me now. So I took this comment in kind of a very weird way. I was almost in disbelief or like shock that someone would say something like that. It like a very weird backhanded comment about someone's appearance. And I don't know, that was like an isolated situation that happened fine, right? Like fine. Slowly, like she kept making like odd comments about comparing our appearances. And I kind of just wanted to ask if anybody else has had this experience. Have other people experienced this in co-ed friend groups? It was like a very weirdly insecure comment. And I kind of brushed it off because I don't really care. I'm a lot more secure in my body right now. And I was baffled and in shock for maybe 15 minutes. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I do want to know if anybody else has had similar experiences or if maybe I just have a bad track record with female friendships. But let's get back to the building because quite a lot has happened. I think I've pretty much completed the entire first floor now. I did a little installment of Nakamura's Fish House, which, if you remember, was my very first, or rather second build in this world. It's that big red building, which I had a club on top of, so I decided to add a little stall. I also have this Greek restaurant and then 2 shops that are currently sitting empty. I don't know why I chose for it to be a Greek restaurant, but it has this like blue and white theme going on, and I think it's probably one of the more romantic per se restaurants that are found around Cyberpunk. Something with a little bit more ambiance and a little bit more of a vibe to it. It's framed out with some bushes, so it has a little bit of privacy. I think some foliage also would look good in this pond to not make it look as concrete-y and add a little bit more life and greenery into the build yet again. I found more sea pickles too, which might be one of my favorite building blocks in Minecraft. I'm not entirely sure why, but sea pickles add a little something special, and with certain shaders, they glow, and they're definitely different people on the server using different shaders, so a few varying colors and lights look good. Because of the minimal space in the building, I wanted to block everything off with shelves as opposed to full blocks. I think it saves a lot more space, And it kind of works out for a market stall or like a shopping stall. I was just trying to finish off the side pavement of all these buildings, as well as build this a little bit more upwards and get some height on this to give that crowded, overwhelming concrete structure that you probably think of when you think of Cyberpunk. Something to be shrouding the park in darkness rather than letting it breathe, like would be typical for real life, or maybe something solarpunk instead. I think the park's starting to look really good now and really built out. I think maybe it looks a little bit too clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and add some leaf litter and some bone meal and scraps around later on. I think that some elements of trash or garbage lying around might bring this back into the cyberpunk realm as opposed to solarpunk, as well as hopefully give it a little rough and rustic vibe, as well as be more realistic with a bunch of leaf litter around with a bunch of trees. I think that only makes sense. Originally in the back of the building, I was planning on putting a hammock, more for utility. We have this mod called Comforts, which brings sleeping bags and hammocks onto the server. You may see some sleeping bag leftover artifacts because for some reason it has a weird issue with replay mod where it leaves half of the sleeping bag on the ground just randomly. But I didn't really love the hammock where it was, and I decided to get rid of it later on. I think my stalls and shops have turned out pretty well though. They look pretty lively without being fully stocked out or having too much effort put into them. But I do want to stock them up later. I think I don't have that much time left in the season, but I have just enough time that adding some food into the stalls and maybe some fun items to go ahead and buy would not be too much of a hassle for me. I learned about rooted dirt rather recently. If I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue when this block was added to Minecraft, but not once had I used it. I don't know what I thought rooted dirt was originally, but I found out if you bone meal rooted dirt, specifically on the bottom, it becomes hanging roots, which are kind of a corally looking foliage, if you will, and I think that it adds to the grunginess of the city a lot better than only having hanging pale moss. I think it is something like cobwebs-ish without being literal cobwebs in the game. I don't really like how cobwebs in Minecraft take up a full block, and I think this is that like rough and tumbled look without it being stark white cobwebs. I think I'm gonna wind up turning this shop into excess foliage, like decorations, pots, stuff like that. And the other shop is gonna sit empty for now. I want to maybe stock it up with some books. I would really like if other people from the server wind up coming in and creating their own shop so that they can get some profit and so that I'm not in charge of stocking up all of these shops. The park is really coming together. I think the opposite area of the building looks really nice, filled out and really green, but the building area is starting to look messy and a little bit lived in. The trees do something really nice with the sunlight, especially with shaders, and filtering out all of the sun and casting these really nice shadows. And even the orange fish hologram is perfectly showcased and framed by these trees. I do want to add a blue fish hologram. If you remember from 2077 in Corpo Plaza, there are 2 fish holograms. We have the orange and the blue one. And I think it's only fitting that I have to add the blue one eventually. I'm just trying to find the correct spot for it. I decided to leave the 2nd and 3rd story at least empty for now. I'm a little bit debating between apartment buildings or adding more shops, but I think empty is good and it prevented me from spending too much time on this build. I think I was already getting really burnt out. I recall while I was building this, the entire time, I was just thinking like, oh God, I guess I have to do this. I guess I have to build in Minecraft. Ugh, it's fine in the end, and that's why, in part, this video took so long. I found someone on Pinterest who had created a dumpster in Minecraft. I couldn't resist. It's just the perfect Cyberpunk edition to add this dumpster sitting out behind the restaurant area as kind of the scraps. So I used copper, which I think is a very good dumpster-esque material. And the flap lids of the dumpster are a mixture of put out campfires and spruce. And then this is when it really clicked for me. Leaf litter, based on the orientation you place it, can look like accumulated trash in corners. So I was kind of framing the leaf litter around the dumpster to look like there's like a perimeter of excess trash around the dumpster. And then I added a kelp block as like another bundle of a trash bag or something like that. I think later I could probably go ahead and use player heads to further enforce the garbage and the trash and add a little bit more decoration, but I think I was just sick and I wanted this building done and off of my mind. I'm really happy to see that this city has turned out so well. I keep having visitors pop by while I'm building to check out the progress and check out what's been done to it. And I love that people are very enthusiastic about seeing all the trees and the buildings I've added, as well as some of the other newer members of the city have added. I think the addition of the pothole here especially looks really good and is something that brings just a tiny bit more immersion into the game and into the city. I was kind of feeling like there were some parts that were a little bit more empty, but I think as I add stuff in, it's rounding it out and becoming more of a place where you experience it as you walk through it. I do want to add a tour of this city onto my channel before the season ends. I'm so sad that this may be one of the last few builds of the city. I am on a server, of course, that I don't personally run, so I have very minimal control over what happens to it. I will probably end up creating a duplicate of this city. I know I didn't for the Cyberpunk city last season, but I've become really attached to this city, and because I built in pretty much only vanilla blocks, I think that they'd make pretty useful additions to possibly a forever world in the future if I ever choose to do so. Which, as I think about it more and more, I think that may actually be a rather interesting idea to have all of my old builds from servers past in one single world together to kind of see my progress and to kind of build out a full world and see everything that I've created in its entirety in Minecraft. I'm also trying to blend out the park a little bit because I can't really end it so abruptly as I want it to. So I'm feathering out the edges with some dirt slabs. Thankfully, we have terrain slabs as a mod. I think I'm so not sure how Mojang has not added terrain slabs to Minecraft, but this may be one of the mods that, dare I say, I can't live without. I think it just adds a smoothing effect to terrain that natural Minecraft really craves. Even though Minecraft is a block game, you can still have that smooth, natural looking terrain with slabs and with blocks. But I'm in the final stretch of finishing out the building and finishing out the roof. And I added these biotemp monitors to all of the trees, as I think they probably wouldn't be able to grow or occur naturally. And it's likely that Biotechnic would have some kind of monitoring system for feeding the plants and watering the plants to keep them alive in such a quote-unquote desolate environment, even though it looks pretty lush. I still do need to take charge and finish the other side of this hill that I've built out. I wanted to feather off this building so that it didn't have the world's steepest cliff, but I think I'll add a partial cliff in the end that makes the other side of the building not look as atrocious as it does right now. I think this probably might be one of those things where in the past, I would definitely say if you didn't finish the full parts of every single build, you aren't truly building. Like if you didn't complete the interiors, the mega build you did you truly build it? But I'm kind of understanding people's point of view now because I really do not want to finish the other side of that terrain. I do think because of Foxy and because we use Foxy on the server, I do want to have people see a good faraway view of it. So I'll definitely have to do that in the end, but that's a later problem. I'm adding these benches around the entirety of the park right now. Kind of what I imagine to be like where people would play chess, even though that probably makes no sense, but just something to fill out the area a little bit, and maybe I'll go back and add some food stalls or some more vending machines to round out the area. I have a few right now in the lower story, but it's time to finish off this roof. I think as a staple part in the Cyberpunk city, I've added semi-green roofs to almost every single building so far. I think the greenery is a good way to have a flat roof that's not so egregiously boring. And like I've said in previous videos, because of Elytra and because of so many people flying all over the server, I think the tops of buildings looking good is very important, especially if you wouldn't probably see them from all the way down on the ground. I think the greenery just is the final touch and the final push to not have the world's most boring building ever. And the firefly bushes at night look really good. And then of course, a mandatory part of any flat roof is having satellite dishware and like some random AC units at the top. And I can connect those all with connectable chains to give it a little bit more realistic wiring. And I think that about completes the building. Once I finish off the edge, I think we're good here.